Here is our first set of data, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and our second set is the temperatures. We want to know the line of best fit. So you're going to take your calculator. You are going to go to Stat. This button right here that says Stat. We've got to be together on this and doing it together so that I'm not going back and doing 10 steps again. Then, up here. Unless you can put it in your pocket. Thank you very much. Okay, Ian, you have your calculator? Okay, I just couldn't see it. So, go and push the button Stat, and this should come up. Is this on your computer screen? It is a computer. Specifically a calculator. Okay. Yes, Simba. Did you just say yes, Simba? Oh, you said yes, Simba, and I was like, oh, no, no. There was a girl in my class named Rosa Pena, so I would do Rosa Pena. She didn't like it. So I push enter. This is what it should look like. If yours does not have an L1 and an L2 there, tell me now, please. L1 and L2. That's a problem. So you don't have an L1? Bring it over here and let me reset it. Do you have an L1 and L2? Okay, if you have an L1, under L1, start putting the numbers of the latitude, and under temperature, under L2, put your numbers of temperature. So that's not your fault, obviously. It's that it has been erased, so I'm going to reset your calculator. Push Stat again. And you should have an L1 and an L2. Okay, so try again. So I'm going to put 0, 10, 20, 30. So I'm going to put 0, enter. 10, enter. 20, enter. 30, enter. 40, enter. 50, enter. 60, enter. 70, enter. 80, enter. And then I'm going to use my arrow and move over to L2. These do not mess up. Do it very carefully according to what your paper says. I'm not going to say them out loud because then it'll screw you up. Okay, come here and I'll help you. I'm not sure that's a problem. When you finish, the 80 and the 1 should be across from each other, and then there should be blank underneath that. You should have the same amount of L1s and L2s as you have. You should have the same number of L1s as you do L2s. Double check that your numbers are correct, please. When you're completely done, sit back from your calculator, put your hands back so that I can see that you're done. I do that like I'm a blackjack dealer to my dog whenever I give her the last treat. I'm like, no more, and she's like, thank you, Ben. Okay. Hannah, Naomi, Ian, are you all still working? Nick lost his hands, so that's cool. I looked up and all I could see was like this, like no arms, no hands, no nothing. Yeah. Oh, I did that. I was so mad. Me too.
I was helping Dave with the sheets, and we were like banding his tail or whatever. He's like, I'm going to show you another way to do it. So he cuts it off. I don't know, blood doesn't bother me because there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it was hot. And my vision went, my legs went numb. I went on the ground. My nips passed out.
I stood in line for the Intimidator at King's Dominion for like 2 hours. Then I got on, and 5 seconds in, I passed out on the ride. And I was like that. There was a picture of me doing it. And then I woke up at the end, and the person I was with was like, that was awesome. And I was like, what happened? I was out. 2.5 hours of my life gone. I will look for it. Of course I did. I have no idea where it is now, but I will look for it. I did buy that picture because obviously it was worth it. I mean, I was out. I was so mad. I missed the whole ride, and then my neck was like really sore because I was like like with no control.
And I would.
It was awful. I was so mad though. Okay, so now think about this. We have to calculate the line of best fit, right? So hit the button stat again. And you see how at the top it says edit, which that allows us to edit our things. And the middle one says calc. That means we're going to calculate it. So move your arrow over. So hit the button stat. Move over. You should be here. We want the line of best fit. We don't want a cubic. We don't want a quartic. We don't want a quadratic. We want just a regular line. So we're going to go down to where it says line reg. No. And we push enter. It's going to say, I'm going to use line 1 and line 2, and I want to calculate it. So just push enter a couple of times to where you get to that, and it tells us this.
I lost you at
You had me at hello, Ben. Okay, you hit stat. You moved over to calc. And you're going to do a line reg, so a regular line. You're going to push enter on that, and you're going to push enter until you get to calculate. You're going to push enter again, and it's going to tell you this. That is our y equals mx plus b. So the a is our m, and our b is our b. We not obviously. Obviously is a word that makes you feel like you should know when you shouldn't actually know. We are not going to use all the digits of that. We're going to round it. So we're going to do 2 points past the decimal. So my line of best fit, which I'm using from this, is going to be y equals negative 1.06x plus 92.31. That's my line of best fit. I got it from this, from inputting my x values or my L1, inputting my y values or my L2, and it did it for me. Now it says, estimate the average temperature for a city with a latitude of 25 degrees. Well, latitude were our x's because it was the top one. So to get out of this screen, I'm going to hit second and the button beside it to quit and go to just my regular screen. And now they want to know when the latitude's 25. So I'm just going to use this line of best fit when x equals 25. So I'm going to do negative 1.06 times 25 plus 92.31. So I did y equals negative 1.06 times 25 plus 92.31, and I get 68 point, nope, no I don't, I get, thank you, 65.81 degrees. And I'm going to put degrees Fahrenheit because it is degrees is in not latitude, but degrees is in temperature. Yes, you may. Where's your phone? Stranda. Like stranded. Okay. Let's look at number 2. Now, when it's years, we don't want to use the years. We want to use numbers that are like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. We don't want to use something like 1980 because what it'll do, it'll mess up our data. Because this is going to be the first year that we have. And it's saying that that year's 1980. So it's going to calculate with 1,980 not knowing it's a year. So what we can do is we can fix that. We can say this is year 0, meaning the very first year we're using. Kind of like when a kid is just born. They're not 1 yet. They're 0 up for the first 12 months, right? So 1984, if 1980 is 0, what's 1984? 4. Now 1981, which is the best year ever because I was born that year, that would be year 1. That's probably what you were thinking about, Abigail, only of me. Obviously. I knew that. Okay, so then 1988, if 1980 is year 0, what's 1988? 8. Good. And what's 1992? 12. What's 1994? 14. They tricked you. And 1998? 18. If 1980 is 0, then 1984 is 4 years past that.
Oh, I just did a 2, 4, and an 8 again.
Yeah, you shouldn't, because it's 1992, so that's 10 more years. So you're doing from 1980. So we're going to do that. So now that means we're going to do the whole process that we did a minute ago, but I'm going to show you how to clear your L1 without having to go through and delete every single number. But if you do it incorrectly, you'll delete the whole L1, and then I'm going to have to reset your whole calculator. So listen to me. We're going to go to stat, because that's how we always start here. We're doing statistics here. I'm going to push enter for edit. I'm going to go up here to L1, where L1's highlighted, and I'm going to hit my clear button and down. So highlight L1, hit the clear button over here. Do not hit delete. Delete deletes it. You're going to hit the clear button and push down, and it'll delete all the numbers underneath it. So do the same for L2. Hit clear and push down, and it clears out all the numbers underneath, but it doesn't actually delete your list. So does everyone still have L1 and L2 in your thing? That's important. If you don't, that's fine. I'll fix it. It just takes a second. Like Autumn's, to start with, didn't have an L1. Okay, what am I putting under L1? Good. So 0, 4, 8, 12, 14, and 18. And then under L2, I'm putting in my numbers of times. Times what? That Olympic 500-meter men's gold medal speed skating. What? The information in the table shows the Olympic 500-meter men's gold medal speed skating times since 1980. Okay, that is very poorly written. I believe what they're trying to say is how many times they got gold.
Interruption. Girls tennis may be dismissed for their playoff match here at WA.
Gabe and Ben, no.
Again, girls tennis may be dismissed.
How does your teacher at this point not know what teams you're on? Who was it? Okay, see, that makes a lot of sense.
She's like, did you play a prank on me?
Man, she's hilarious. Okay, a substitute, I understand. I thought it was just straight up teacher, and I was like, how does your teacher not know at this point?
I told her that I failed a drug test and I had to take her off the team.
She believed it too.
Oh, no. You have seen this, right?
I promised my students that if you
She impersonated me.
respond to this TikTok, they don't have to take the unit test. As to you, the Savannah Bananas.
That is great. And the Savannah Bananas responded to it, so I am not giving my kids the unit test. That was the deal we had. They still have to do the review. They still have to do the quiz that goes. If they could get the Savannah Bananas to respond directly to a video that they posted. Simi and Allie asked, and I was like, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I will do that because the Savannah Bananas are a baseball team in Savannah where I'll be moving. And so, and they're like,
They're just a bunch of
yeah, and it's kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. So like one guy swings with his bat on fire. They do dances, but they actually play and are like all like college level or better players. So it's really, and they play against all these people. So that's what it is. So I really like them and want to go to a game to them. So that's the reason Simi and I were talking, and then he did that, and I was like, okay, we will see. This is going to be awesome. So they did comment on it. So they still have to do it's real funny. Let me see. Yeah. They said Gritty is top tier. Congratulations, students, on not having to take the test. So, totally worth it. Okay, have you put your numbers into L1 and L2? Ben, you do? You have them in, the new numbers? Okay, great. So now that we have the new numbers in, hit stat again. Go over to calculate. We're doing a regular line, which is number 4. And you're push enter until it calculates it to me. Do it to 2 places past the decimal or the nearest hundredth. So our equation from this is y equals negative 2.29x plus 430 point what? Very good. Then it says estimate the 500 meter time. Oh, these are times since 1980. Estimate the 500 meter time for the 2012 Olympics. Okay, so what are they saying here? They want the 2012 Olympics. That's a year, right? So I'm going to write down 2012 here. And I'm going to need to figure out what number I'm going to use for 2012. Well, how many years is 2012 from 1980?
Oh, wait.
32, says Hannah. 32. Nick, did you say that as well? Yeah. Okay. 32, which means our x value is 32. So write this down. I was. So y equals negative 2.29 times 32 plus 430.56. Oh, good. Then we're almost the same age. That would be really weird if you're still in algebra class. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so now to get out of this screen, I'm pushing second and the button beside it. And then I'm going to put this into my calculator to solve. Negative 2.29 times 32 plus 430.56. And that's going to give me 357.28 what? Seconds. Very good. Okay, and that is my answer. So number 3, I think that we have an idea of how to do it now. So what am I going to make 1980? 0. Very good. So I'm going to make 1980 0. And then, because you weren't in here. When you're born, you don't start at 1, like you're not 1 year old. You're 0 until 12 months. So the first year is 0. I know, Home Alone. Thank you. All right. 1980 is 0. So what's 1985? 5. 1990. 1994. There's your 14. What about 1995? 1996. 97. And 98. So, just a reminder, go to Stat, push Enter, go up to your L1, push Clear button and down, go to L2, push the Clear button and down, and now you have an L1 and an L2 to fill in with our following information. Yep. Did you push down after you hit Clear? Do you have L1 highlighted? Highlight L1, push Clear, and then push down. Did you get it? Come here and I'll help you. Okay. Highlight L1, push Clear, and push down. Okay, 0, 5, 10. Okay. Put in your new values. Make sure that your numbers in the Y's or the L2 are good. And if you don't end on the same number as the other one, then you've messed up. You done messed up. Once you get that put into your calculator, L1 and L2, see if you remember how to calculate your line of best fit. Remember, the stat button is key. Key.
Stat. Calculate.
I need you to figure it out. Stat.
Right. I'm lost. Oh, calculate. I did it.
Yay! Did you get the same thing I did? Was it? Okay. Okay, if you check up here on the screen, this is what I got in my calculator. This is what I write down for my y equals. I had to because the number beside it was larger than 5.
Are you sure?
For numbers 0 through 4, you leave it the same. For 5 through 9, you round up. I am sure of that. Okay, so the next thing they want is they want store sales in 2008, which means you add 2008 here, and you figure out what value you want to make 2008. 2008 is 10 more than 1998, right? Yes, you may. So I'm going to make it 28. Because it's 28 years from 1980. So now I'm going to do y equals 10.60 times 28 plus 75.48 equals, now what kind of number am I going to get? A decimal, and what kind of way am I going to write it? It's sales, which is what? Dollar bills, y'all. My money don't jiggle jiggle. It folds. Okay, so to get off this screen, I go second and quit. I put this in the calculator. A friend of mine would always say calculator. I'm still not sure if he was serious. I don't know. So if this is sales, I want dollar bills. Y'all. Got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. I know. Because I'm going to post this so that you all will be able to look back on it if you forget the calculator ways whenever you're doing your homework. And I also have it because Keely and Max aren't here so that they can look at it.
She's going to send it to the office for the class participation.
Grace, you have wonderful class participation. Okay, questions? Yeah. Did you do 10.60 times 28 plus 75.48? Yes. Yes. So if you have the phone app, that was my next thing I was going to tell you. If you have the phone app, let's switch over to that so that you can make sure and know how to do it on your phone, because you'll be doing it for your calculator. You don't have to do this. You have a calculator, a TI-86 at home? Okay, that's fine. If you have a different one at home, you can also...
It's a TI-84.
Okay.
It's like one of the ones.
Both of them work the same. Okay, so I'm going to do it now on my phone. Can you see it up there? Yeah. So that we can just make sure that you know how to do it on that, and you'll be able to do it at home. If you do not have a phone or a calculator app on it, you can always use a computer and look up TI-84, and you can do the same on that, or Desmos, D-E-S-M-O-S, and it is a free graphing calculator on the computer. If you have a phone available right now that you'll be using at home, I suggest you get it out and use it so that you can make sure that you know what you're doing on that. Okay. Number 4, the scatter plot, the scatter below shows the number of dollars in billions spent on books and maps of the U.S. from 1990 through 1995. So we want to find a line of best fit, but we can't until we know the data. So I'm going to say X, Y, and make a chart. Okay, now this is from 1990. But they've already converted the years, so we don't have to turn it back to 1990, 1991, 1992, that kind of thing. My first point is 016.5. I'm getting that from that point right there, just reading what it says. So that means in 1990, there were $16.5 billion spent on books and maps in the U.S. Yes. Wait until this problem. So, and Gabe's out as well. So, yeah. I know he's hard to see when he walks by, but. Okay, what's the next point? 117. Next point. Good. Naomi, what's the next point? Perfect. 319. Ian, what's the next one? 420. Okay. And why did they do that? Why? Why would they ever put that on any answer anywhere? And Hannah, what's our last one? 5. Good. Okay, so here's our list. What are we going to do? We're going to do it exactly the way we did it before. We are going to use our phone or our calculator. We're going to stat. We're going to edit. Now this looks a little different. 0, but you do it the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'll move over to L2. I think the same way. Then you'll just clear each box. Oh, I see what you mean. On each of the numbers, you hit delete and it'll delete it. Like, don't delete the L1, but just delete each individual thing. So, did you hear what we just said on that? So if I got like the 4 wrong here, I would go to it and I would hit this delete button and it would take away the 4. But now I screwed that up because now I need that is 4 and that is 5. Okay, over here, 16.5. Right above the stat button. And you got to put them in the same order. So I have this on my phone. Do you have it on yours or on your calculator? So I'm going to hit stat, go over to calc. Line reg is number 4. I hit enter on that. I hit enter and it gives me this. Now this gives me a little more information than the previous information, right? However, we're doing this, so you might want to do this on your phone or on the calculator. So go back. So at stat, did you fill in this? Ben? Did you fill in your L1 and L2? And then you hit stat again, go over to calc, and go down to line reg. And hit enter, and hit enter.
I got line reg AX plus B.
Yes.
List L1. Y list L2.
Yep, that's what it should say. So, calc, so you went to 4 and you get all this. Hit enter again. And it'll give that to you. Now, we just care about the A and the B because that's what it is, AX plus B. So that gives us our equation that we need. So we get y equals 0.87x plus 16.24. And you do have to round up because of the number past it. Now, it says estimate 2005. Well, what year did we start with? So how many years is it from 2005 to 1990? How much? 15. So we need to use the number 15. So we're going to do y equals 0.87 times 15 plus 16.24. Will I move my phone for a second? Sure. So we use the dots on this graph to get the x and y. So our first dot was at 0.16.5. Our second dot was at 117. So we just wrote down that information. No problem, you weren't in here. Plus 16.24. I got 29.29. So my answer is 29.29 billion. Why is it billion? Because the instructions told us it was. I think we all are. Okay, so what I want you to do tonight is 5, 6, and 7 on this page. Yes. On number 5, will you need to change anything? No. What about on number 6? Yes. And what about number 7? Yes. Okay, so 5, 6, and 7. Thank you, Ben. That is your homework for tonight. Tomorrow Monday when we start, we'll probably do a little bit of practice on this before we take the quiz and go over the homework. There is a slight chance the quiz won't be until Tuesday. Okay, any questions on what your homework is? Okay, does everyone have access to a calculator at home or to a computer at home where they can work this out? Yes? Okay. All right, 5, 6, and 7, go ahead. We have 3 minutes left. You can put away your calculators and put your things away.